That you animated something in 6 minutes. Now I can.
Soft, I threw it into an animated GIF maker online that took 4 images.
And welcome to another edition of Push to Talk, bitch. Alright, and special thanks to Bargos, who said, you know, I bet you I can make an animation. I have 13 minutes, right? We can do that, right? And he did! So,
Hey, look,
I'm amazed that took him all of 6 minutes. Jesus.
The extra 7 was me trying to find something that could animate it without downloading something.
Quick question, Bargos, do you moonlight as a propaganda art director for Happy Forces?
No. I'm sorry, I'm just... So, I want to clarify for the audience. I put about as much effort into that as Pappy put into naming their coalition.
what did they name their coalition again?
Coalition. No. This show is about memeing about anything we can come up with for the week.
Or 5 minutes before we go live. 13 minutes, I mean, before we go live. One or the other, I'm not sure. They are the snack men.
It's lucky we even go live on time half of the weeks that we've...
Hold on. I have a question. Hold on.
It's like insane.
Very important question for the audience. Is everybody's sound properly balanced today?
I don't know.
Oh, thanks for muffling into your mic for crying out loud. Jesus Christ.
That's because I practically ate it.
He's like, McLeod. Rawr! Rawr! Sorry. Yeah. I have him muted on Mumble anyway. I don't know. No clue. What music? I don't know what you're talking about. Actually, that's original music. I get it. Somebody did for us. Euler did the original music for us for the show. So we didn't even pull that off of some sound thing. So, alrighty. So what are we going to talk about today? Snack? Anacondas?
We're going to talk about lizard people, of course.
Or are we all going to talk in New Jersey accents about our anacondas? I don't know what's going on today. Jersey Shore.
Someone mentioned being happy with CCP.
Oh yeah, who did that?
Talk.
Who was that?
You can guess who that was.
I mean, is that even allowed on this show?
Look at the face I'm making. Really?
Well, they did manage to break the record, right?
For what?
Rather, let us break the record.
The players managed to break the record. Let's be very clear on that, Caleb.
Oh, did we break the Guinness Book of World Records again?
However, CCP did manage to keep the servers stable for long enough for us to do it. So yeah, according to Polygon, who apparently got this from CCP, a total of 8,825 players, representing, where's the numbers? Some 11,000 odd actual player accounts. 11,258 player-owned accounts in FWST. Peak concurrent total was 6,557. So yeah, some absolutely incredible numbers
Doug,
on Tuesday.
Doug, if there's one thing I'd never want to hear you say again, it's according to Polygon.
Well, that's fair. Polygon got their information from CCP. That was just where it was first reported.
And CCP got it from INN, or what?
CCP got those numbers from their servers, I guess, because it includes actual player counts.
No, we had the best recording the entire time. It's clearly from INN.
And we would like to welcome our best and most superior snake wrangler on INN, Dawn Rhea.
I'm just
Yay!
well,
Somebody wants to talk about the Imperium kicking ass. I didn't think we're losing this war. I mean, this is terrible. We're going to self-destruct, aren't we?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm literally curing people in SVM right now. I'm literally injecting people with light.
I just wanted to. That's my October surprise. It's not really happening.
have you seen how many keepstars we've lost in Delph so far? I mean, we are losing, man.
I know.
No. We are the best Keepstar killing force in Delve.
that's true.
That is actually true. Statistically, that is true. That is just a fact.
Considering considering the groups that were fighting, like, I'm surprised that. Well, I highly doubt that it's possible. But if it was possible, I would have imagined they would probably, like, transfer ownership of the of the Keepstars like at 5% to go.
Oh, that would have been funny. Can you even do that?
I don't think so, but the groups that we generally tend to fight and just completely murder zone generally tend to do that.
Killboard tanking is a valid strategy. Okay.
So hold on. Savakabaga, 1929, says the word delve is banned on Ron's stream.
Yeah, I've brought that up a couple times.
Really? Is it really?
It is.
Oh, is that real?
Really?
Wow.
The moment he said that, I said, "All right, I'm never watching you again because that's just pathetic." And then bounced out.
Can't say delve.
Can't write the self or happy. I think he's got a couple words banned over there, and then
Hey! Hold on, guys.
Hilarious. So we have to call them snacks.
I have to address something in chat. I have to chapter 4. Okay, I love salad. I'm a fan of the salad. All right, just because I have a big head like fucking Neil Cavuto. All right, jeez, making fun of me.
I mean, ham salad and pepperoni salads and chicken salad.
I didn't even know there was a pepperoni salad, to be honest. No, actually, real salad with lettuce. I'm like, I love it. It's good. But yes. Just because I put on a few pounds in COVID, you don't need to, make fun of me.
I saw you.
Not very nice. Clearly, I don't care, folks. It doesn't bother me. So, what were you going to say, Don? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Oh, nothing.
Okay.
I'm not watching
Meat salad.
because he's pretty whiny for a former Marine, right?
Yeah, he is a former Marine, isn't he?
And the most famous thing that's been circulating this week is his little rant about how that since they were 4,000 men, a group on grid, that they should be able to beat us because they double our numbers, and that Bushing Ravens are bullshit.
Yeah,
and that they need.
Bushing Ravens aren't bullshit. Bushing Ravens are just hard to use, and when used right, are actually pretty awesome. You just need to actually know how to fucking counter them, which is actually really fucking easy.
Competent.
Yeah, you have to be competent at. You have to be semi-competent.
You know, this seems to be a running theme for their coalition.
I mean, the issue there, really, with Bush Ravens is that they can't just tackle you with bubbles. They actually have to scram you, and, well, that requires pushing more than one button.
No, it's not even that. You literally just have to park an Eagle fleet somewhere within 250 kilometers of it, and nuke the Bushing micro jump drive or micro jump field generator desis, command desis.
Yeah, but now you.
That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do.
You don't got that like you used to though. So you're not Bushing 250 Ravens anymore, which
Exactly. Without
Small
bushes,
question, right?
like NJD Ravens, just die like fucking like ridiculous.
Okay, can I ask a small question? Because I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that for many years we've argued the whole N+1. Doesn't this whole thing prove that N+1 is not that big of a problem in EVE Online?
Well, no, because there's always been the one side of it, right? Where it's N+1 is a problem so long as the people you're fighting are competent.
Yeah, equally skilled. So we do not have an N+1 problem.
Or really what it is you either have N+1 or you have so much money that you don't care what it takes. The Imperium proved this week we will do what it takes to win.
So, we are. Isn't that a shame? We're willing to do whatever it takes to win. The does anybody want to address the question about Anaconda? And our snake does not look like an anaconda. Bargos, do you want to? Anybody want to address it?
Well, I think the issue it's kind of interesting because if you were really an Anaconda coalition, you really were like, all with the whole kind of like keeping the pressure up, which is the whole idea of Anaconda, right? You would have dropped third keep star straight away.
I thought
Right.
maybe.
And then a fourth.
I thought
And
maybe.
then a fourth.
I
I
thought.
was
But they're not Anacondas because they don't know how
I
to
would-
keep pressure up.
I would like to know, these keep stars, do they actually like get paid by the same funds that are used for the Titan SRP?
No, because keep stars are fraternities.
Yeah.
No, for their Titan SRP, Brave gets value, Test gets a Titan, and then Villy, he SRPs himself a Komodo every time he dies. I think that's the
Ah.
new Test line standard, if I'm correct. I might be wrong, though.
And now we have Mike Flood coming in, everybody.
Yeah,
Yay.
I just got done looting the shit out of the field, so... Hey!
Hold it. Did something happen?
Oh, yeah.
I'm unaware.
Yeah, so there was just a
Someone
fight.
tried to.
Yeah.
Oh, go for it, dude. Go for it.
Someone just tried taking out the jammer and SVM with nightmares and an absolute ass ton of Feroxes. And so we showed up with Abaddons, Rokes, Feroxes, Jackdaws, and then Munins. And Test lost a shit ton of nightmares, and there's a lot of dead Feroxes, like a lot. But we pushed them off the jammer, and then the Karma Fleet guys, we were dicking around looting because we were just looting. And one of our guys managed to probe down a Naggle fire and tackle it, and we killed a Nag. So,
So they didn't have 2 to 3 to 1 numbers to us this time?
well, no. Once they started losing the numbers advantage, that's when they started to run. Like, immediately when, Jay started forming, is when they started to go, this is gonna be iffy. And then when Jay got into Sista, Jay was one jump out, they immediately fucking ran, even though they would have been on equal numbers at that
And I distinctly remember somebody bitching yesterday about how they had less people than us yesterday in a fight. Do you remember I don't remember which fight it was specifically.
I don't remember either, but it's just like one of those things where people are gonna get bitchy about that when they're literally bringing like they won't take fights because they don't have 400 more dudes, and they're quote unquote good for the game, even though they're really doing they're the pure Helldunker blue balls right now. That's the basic thing at this point. I mean, the whole Pappy's good for the game. No, Pappy is awful for the game. It created the largest blue donut in EVE history. And there's people who are literally just a massive blue circle around Eve, and Delve's the only part that isn't there right at this point. Not counting Cloud Ring in that area, which is actually turning into a small gang zone, but yeah.
I disagree.
About Cloud Ring? Sorry, I was zoned out.
Oh, there's a bunch of smaller groups fighting over Cloud Ring right now. Triumvirate is on their 7th mark and is trying to take Cloud Ring now.
Yeah, well, we'll just move them out of the way when we, if they don't cooperate. So
Why the? Yeah, but there's no use for Cloud Ring. There's no point.
no,
There-
we need them for jumper to go up north, so we have a nice easy path
Hey,
to
when
go smash NC in.
that's true. When
Every
XE,
system.
when I joined XE, we had Cloud Ring, and it was a fun place to live.
Every system is worthwhile when you install wormhole generators into them.
I mean,
Just saying.
people are asking in Twitch chat, how the hell is Try still around? They're going to be really surprised when I tell them that SMA are making another resurgence.
No, Dirk, have you heard the full story behind SMA, though? Actually, I'm sure you have.
I just saw SMA's Dotland page, to be perfectly honest.
Yes. So they've got some of... Is it Pureblind?
Yeah, they're in Pureblind
Yeah.
at the minute.
They've paid Volta to have some solve there.
Oh my god, are you?
Lol.
They hold it.
Try just holding on against GMVA and a couple other groups.
Oh no, Bart, that changed.
When
Try just picked up another corp, and they've been slapping GMVA for the past couple days, like absolutely slapping them. So, because they just picked up another corp, and they're actually doing pretty good for themselves, you know.
Right, guys.
yes, sir.
I need to disagree on this whole Pappy is bad for the game thing, because
It's great for our game.
Hold it.
It's
Time out.
not-
Did we actually say Pappy was bad for the game, or were we just making fun of him?
I did for a certain.
I don't
there's a
think it's Pappy's bad for the game. Just Pappy's like approach to this war is bad for the game.
Well, it's the
Right,
whole
for-
massive.
first of all, that would be if you think Pappy will stay as they are. If you truly believe that groups like PL and NC can manage to go through a war without backstabbing their allies, then you don't know PL and NC.
Well, so what I'm talking about right now is why this is like getting bad is like you're literally seeing Fraternity take over massive amounts of quote unquote renter space that totally isn't for botting, while they're pushing out smaller groups, while Test is just sitting there like, yeah, we're gonna have this merry little war, and then after this war, then Fraternity's gonna turn around and slap Test until they fucking die. Like,
Yes, but the whole botting thing, like CCP somehow just ignoring a certain group, basically consisting of 95% botters, that's a problem with CCP and not with Pappy having a war with us.
no, but what I'm talking about is they're expanding at a rapid rate while this is going on, and that's what the problem is. Tough. Go look at Vale. There was like 4 or 5 smaller alliances living there doing smoking shit, and they just got pushed out for renters, air quotes. Yeah.
Well, so my opinion is if at the rate that they're going right now to getting into Delve, do you think the game can survive a blue coalition for 6 more months without?
Yeah.
The game can. I don't know about NoSec.
The
That's
botters love it.
Next week.
At the rate they've been going, we're fine, right?
Yeah.
We're still going to be fighting over Delve in 6 months if this carries on at the rate it has been going.
And as DK Tedo, I don't know how to pronounce that, points out, this is assuming they're still a coalition in 6 months. If that's what he's pointing to. Yeah, they won't last six months, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a fair point. Soth brought up just a few minutes ago, you know, there has never been a war in which NCPL, the PanFam group, hasn't backstabbed their allies in it. That's not true, Soth. They always call quits on the war before they turn on their previous allies.
Never turn during the war, turn after the war.
About 5 minutes before they did.
Yeah, it's... I mean, we all saw what happened to Legacy when they were up in Vale still. Back after the Casino War, you know, late 2016, PanFam didn't bother chasing the Imperium to Delve, and then over the summer, and then come September, October time, suddenly Legacy was getting hit in Vale by PanFam and came running down to Catch, which is where we were in the start of 2017. You know, at this point, are we going to see history repeating itself? I'd put some money on it at the very least.
If we do, I think there's an interesting question that comes up, and it's not that someone explicitly states, it's just from the phrasing that Veritas uses. if goons are too hard of a target, Pappy will turn on test. You know, from there I'm going, okay, if you're saying they turn on test, you're implying Legacy also turn. Is that a scenario we reckon we could see?
I don't think
If Legacy members feel that the
Legacy.
weight is against them?
Part of Legacy, yes. I could see part of Legacy. I could see Fire completely pulling out of this war and not just done
I don't
with it soon.
Brave not sucking Billy's tits though, so
I mean, Brave might stick by it. Evictus, warped, fed up.
Severin, yeah.
I could see them go, look, we're fucked if we stick with test.
This is also
We're
why
flipping.
This is also why we should almost consider letting them drop that Keepstar. Just let them drop it, because as soon as they are starting to actually invade Delve proper, right, they're going to be in the position where they will disproportionately the loss of supers and titans for the participating groups will not be equal, right? It will not be proportional. And as soon as that starts happening, that's when they start seeing the bad effects on the late end of the game, right? When, let's say they win, right? The people that's lost the most supers and titans proportionally are going to be the weakest groups, right? And that's when they're going to start eating each other. It's just going to be a question of when do they want to start doing that, right? And that's why we should really let them, because that's also why I suspect that they won't really commit. Willy was having a little bit of a fit yesterday on Open Comms, saying that the goons won't commit supers and titans. Well, not necessarily when it's in your benefit and you have all the advantages, but come fight on one of the Keepstars in Delve, and we'll see what happens, right? And this is why they mismanaged their whole narrative, and they keep doing this cognitive dissonance bullshit. They know that when they need to actually start committing stuff, that's when they will start losing.
I look forward to all the crying that will happen when we are the ones abusing docking and tether mechanics with Titans in a full tie-dye fight.
Oh,
Yeah, they patched that.
well, just think about
They
it. How
patched that.
would it be to lose a third Keepstar against subcaps?
Well, let's put it this way, Dawn. Considering there are already people from Legacy Alliances that I used to know from my time over there pretty much PMing me going, oh, I'm so sick of this shit. On the second Keepstar loss, yeah, I think third Keepstar loss is going to see people leaving. And some of them are corp CEOs.
Yeah, but that's the only upside to this, right? It's the only upside to taking down another Keepstar is the fact that it might demoralize the troops. The real upside for goons would be to let them actually have it so they can actually commit, because the problem right now is that they're not committing.
Well, no, what you want is the best of both worlds, Caleb. You want to force the weaker corps out and such by basically bricking them up against Keepstar after Keepstar loss. And then those that hold through, you like fight on the Keepstar. Yeah,
okay, the group in the Pappy forces right now that does the highest bid in on the pot, right, brings the most Titans and supers and starts losing them. And even if it's a 1-to-1, even if it's a 2-to-1, where basically goons are feeding, it will still cause loss, and those losses will be what they use to compare how are we doing compared to everyone else. This is why I'm saying it's all a question of who runs out of chips first, right? And when that happens, you're going to see things start to be a little bit messy in the Pappy forces, and that's when you will potentially see something like Frat going, oh, we didn't want this war anyways, and then just bail on it, or something like that. I'm not entirely sure who's going to bail first, but they've been running this whole narrative of Bastion leaving, Initiative being demoralized, and it's like, you're projecting, dude. You're like projecting like a mofo.
Well, let's talk about that, because I believe Sneakwaffle just left. It's one of the two, right?
You know, I just heard you calling them Snake Waffle.
Lol.
No, they're not snakes anymore, so they have to go do their own thing. Which is not a huge court, but they have a lot of Titan pilots because they're old.
I mean, Snick going away for a while and doing their own thing is like tradition for them. I wouldn't really take that as anything.
Shh, Sock, that's not part of the narrative.
Fuck the narrative.
Okay, it's worth noting they've moved back to Waffles. So, yeah, they're probably doing their whatever low-sec stuff again, right?
Yeah.
Eric, you're muted.
Sorry, guys, because I was typing. So what you're saying is our enemies are saying that we're crumbling?
I mean, we've shaken some dust off, but, Init's still here. They're still doing their thing. They've taken all of Fountain back, pretty much. I haven't checked the Sov map in a while. Bastion are being ballers and taking Esoteria, and along with Farah, who are finally getting to, kick Test's face in.
But Dawn, come on.
Bastion are leaving, haven't you heard?
Bodysoft, it's so easy to retake.
Yeah, that's the challenge, right? Yeah. I'm looking here. I'm like, who's winning this war again? I'm just checking. I'm just asking for a friend.
So there's still this kind of thing going around of like cracks forming or something.
Cracks forming.
Like for us, or is it for Pappy, or is it both? Probably for both. That's how it is. I mean, that's how this war has been going, right? Like, just throw anything and everything at the other side in terms of propaganda, and if it sticks, it sticks. And if it doesn't, just pick it back up and throw again.
There's a slight difference here, McLeod, though. It's been constantly thrown at us with Init and Bastion leaving, which was hilarious because it was being said the night Bastion were moving to go attack Esoteria. So it was funny to see their response when it was, oh wait, they're just attacking Esoteria. But on the other hand, you've got genuine problems coming out of Corp CEOs on the legacy side. Now, I'm not going to say they're going to leave the war, but if that goes too far, that can become a fracture point.
My personal favorite...
Well, the thing is, right... Oh, sorry, don't go for it.
Mine's quick. My personal favorite thing this war so far is the clip of the guy going, "Save the Keepstar!" We're like, it's already dead. And he's like, why's the coalition such bullshit?
See, the interesting thing is, if you go back in time and watch some of the test sort of alliance presentations and stuff, you'll realise that even from back then, test hasn't really changed too much. One of the things that Michael Bolton III, Michael Bolton III, I don't know however you want to say it, had in his presentation is test at peacetime is shit. And you want to know why test at peacetime is shit? It's because if they don't have some kind of external thing to basically fixate on, then they look inward and they realize how fucking terrible they are and how full of just terrible people they are as well. And then they realize it and they start getting all fucking antsy and all fucking frustrated and all that kind of shit. It also starts to happen when you are fixating on an external an external enemy, but you're failing completely.
Chat wants to know if you said quacks are forming.
Oh, quacks.
They ducked now?
No, they're snake.
Snack.
Yeah.
Snack. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Snacks are forming.
Whoa! Who's that?
Oh, it's Apple Pear.
Hi, Apple.
Hi,
How you
Apple.
doing? You're gonna make
Wow,
him-
your accent is almost gone.
Well, he's been working on it. You know, he wants to be American. How you doing?
Yeah,
Horrendous?
Ron's Vulture almost died.
Oh my God!
I will give it.
How
Yeah,
did you find
I will give
that?
it to him. I will give it to him. He does know how to run away really, really well. Like he's probably practiced quite well on that.
Now that Rendis is here,
What?
have you guys seen the latest scope video?
The one about
The
the
latest
Stargates.
Have
Yes, the one about the Stargates.
Well, wait, have you seen the
Yes.
part in the video where they say that we use vexers for killing Garista's rats? Like
No,
part of the
I have
transcript. Yeah, in the transcript it actually is written as Garista's rat instead of Blood Raiders rats when we started using the ratting ships.
Well, they're not wrong.
Yeah,
We use them on the Gurstas too. What the hell?
Is it Mike Flood's birthday?
It
no,
is
that
my
was-
birthday.
It is-
no,
Yeah,
that
happy
was
birthday,
last
Mike.
week.
Happy
That was last
birthday.
week.
Oh, last week. I don't know.
That was last week.
Oh shit! Sorry, I've got to drop something that you need to show Eric, because yeah, well, Billy lied and Pappy are fucked. Not just me.
Billy lied, Pappy died.
Drop this.
Billy
I
lied,
just
Pappy.
to see what I mean.
All right, I'll be looking here.
You know, he claimed
Really?
that by the time they get to Delve, we're going to have a 30% drop in numbers.
Oh yeah. Oh.
What?
Oh shit.
Oh, yeah, that
shit.
crap.
30% rise in numbers.
All right. Save him. We gotta post
Is it
this.
a stat or?
Well, I mean,
you guys
let's-
really surprised that every time he speaks, the opposite is the truth. Really.
I mean, Billy also said that he would personally guarantee Niarja's safety. So
There we go.
Is it like
That's
yes, see,
beautiful.
what we need there now, Bart, is we need the Imperium in those numbers versus the Panfam in those numbers. Well, the Pappy in those numbers, just to kind of stack them up and really show where this is at.
no.
It would be nice, but you know.
They are officially PAPI now. Must be pronounced that way.
PAPI.
What? No.
Okay.
happy in
Yes.
this video?
They're
You know-
snake.
What concerns me is the fact that Test is, at least on paper, the same size as Goonswarm. Actually, no, is he? Are they? Are they about the same size?
No.
No, they're not.
Or third?
About a
That might be
third
my bad.
smaller.
Can I just say,
Who is?
having
Someone-
done some
Nobody.
rough maths.
Nobody.
Sorry, I just want to say,
There's a non-Sob holding alliance that's basically full of everybody they can take in high sec. That's bigger than us.
Silent.
I mean,
okay,
I
yeah.
mean, last
That's
time
the
I
thing.
checked, Test doesn't have a Soth, so there's not.
It is one
Is that,
advantage, yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. I was about to go on a tangent that was completely bullshit. Thank you for stopping me.
By the way, in support of your graph, I know a number of people who have been away from the game for a very long time who have come back on the Goon side. Just because this war was here and they could blow shit up. So, it's good for Goons.
sure, is it worth noting I've just done the rough maths that you wanted, Dirk, and totaling up goons and initiative just together. I mean, there's not even Bastion on this, right?
Yeah.
We are at 5,787. Meanwhile, Horde, Test, and NC combined is only 6,300. Literally spitting distance of numbers.
So what you're saying, it's a fair fight.
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's omitting Brave, but it's also missing Bastion, Ranger Regiment, all the others, It's just the highest contributors to each side. Anyone else is lower down on the numbers, which is,
Yeah. Who else just joined?
It was just me coming back
Oh, you
in.
coming back?
So I feel like some of them forget that we're in our home, and a lot of us have alts that don't actually get deployed. Like, I have my main, and that's all I ever really use in war, but I have two others that are capable of doing something, but they don't usually go anywhere, so you would never see them on ZKL consistently. And I guarantee a lot of goons have similar, like, if they have 10 alts that can do stuff, only 3 of them get deployed and the other 7 stay home and do whatever because it's never really necessary. You're
Yep.
at our home. Guess what? Now you get to meet the family.
Mm.
Maybe it's actually Dawn that's supposed
I like
to do
that. That's nice.
I think it might actually be Dawn that needs to design the whole mongoose fleet.
The mongoose
Basically,
fleet.
just make it crabbing ships that are suddenly well armed,
And rebels.
and then just crab them to death.
You know, when you think of what a mining laser does, it should do some shit to a ship, man.
Yeah, it actually.
That's- we've suggested that many times.
Yeah.
I should be able to mine somebody else's ship with my Precarious.
I should be able to throw a
Absolutely.
salvager on somebody and watch it slowly rip their ship apart.
It does structure damage.
Right.
So all you gotta do is punch through that shield and armor, and then they'll rip the structure apart.
Are you saying we need to go to Johnny Ra and ask him for his Macarial thing?
Hey, Johnny Ra's been blue to goons every now and then because of the random alliances.
No,
that
I'm
sucked
saying
him.
CCP needs to make their mechanics make sense.
Yes.
You can-
Whoa.
Okay.
feel
That's
free to
a
laugh.
Okay.
bold ask.
Okay, there, Horrendous. Calm down.
Let's maybe consider realistic requests that we can make here.
Man, 2020
Don't
is
pick the
almost over. It's time to start, being optimistic and shit. So that 2021
I-
can properly crush our dreams.
I'm not becoming optimistic at all until this year is over.
When it gets to December,
Well, that's not fair at all. If you don't become
December.
optimistic at the end of the year, 2021 cannot crush your dreams.
There you go.
I'm sure 2020 will find plenty of ways to crush my dreams without me adding to them.
Really? That's terrible. Isn't there a song about that?
I'm pretty sure 2020's already crushed a few of your dreams, but next year needs a chance to have some to crush too.
Yeah, no, I'm still good without, thanks.
You know, nobody's going to say hindsight's 2020 quite the same ever again, are they?
I don't know.
I mean, it would definitely remind everyone what this year has been.
In
Oh my
hindsight,
God.
it's no 2020.
No, people will use the phrase hindsight as 2020 by referring back to 2020 as to how terrible a fucking year can potentially be.
Yes.
Because I've literally gone back and watched Charlie Brooker's like 2011, 2012, 2013 wipes, that kind of thing, and like literally looking at it, watching it, and going, "Oh, bliss! It was such good times."
Are we allowed to appropriate opticians' memes? I'm just
yes,
curious.
Yeah,
everyone.
American optician memes.
I really need to go to the optician because the screen is a little fuzzy and I gotta,
Just
I need
I'm
glasses.
sure you're
now.
not just playing on Singularity.
No, I'm getting old. Eyes are going.
I was laughing, and recently I was seeing more and more of the hostiles post, and then you'd have the occasional ping where you'd send out an ADM fleet, and the hostiles would have a structure box, and they go, "Goons forming, get in fleet" for a structure patch or something like that, while our guys are just off doing an ADM fleet or some shit. It's just pathetic. It really is. Like, if you have to lie to your members to get them in fleet, well, how does that make your coalition any good? Like, sorry, but that's just facts.
I really wish I had watched some of the shows before my show Thursday, because if I had seen that clip of Matterall basically smacking Caleb for calling them snake people when they started it themselves, I would have definitely addressed that much more thoroughly. Thursday.
No. Here's the bit you don't get, Dawn. We're not allowed to call them Pappy on Ron's stream. We're not allowed to call them snakes on Matt's stream. So what in the fuck are we allowed to call them?
Well, anal conga.
Idiot.
Did-
You're not allowed to call them snakes on CIS because
Did I hear that properly? Excuse me.
What, anal conga?
There you go.
Yeah, that's
There we
the
go.
Thursday night.
No, but in all seriousness, like, I think the best term, and I don't think it's banned from any of the streams, is idiots. I think that's the best term. No, I mean,
Oh no, Matt will take offense to that one pretty quick.
Morons.
He can take offense all he wants.
yeah,
We
and
don't
like,
care about him taking offense.
no, and here,
Yeah,
just,
you know, plus
Just because you take offense does not implicitly mean that you're correct.
it's it's
Exactly,
really a
it's like-
bitch to dig the post out of the ground when you're trying to do that, though.
no, and like, here's the other thing I gotta bring up. It's,
Fuck's sake, Eric.
yeah, someone was showing me they tried typing delve in Ron streams and it got auto modded. The word delve got auto modded.
Oh fuck.
You have to use numbers, and then if you do, one
No,
of
look, If you want to
hyper.
know what to call them on TAS, call them people of the land.
I actually like Brisk's name that he's admittedly stolen from Merrick.
Then it should be the pillow fight coalition. That's so much cuter.
No,
I like
look,
the- I
no,
like Chuckle
no,
Puffs.
no. I really don't want to destroy my visions of sorority pillow fights in my brain right now. You can't do that to me.
Yeah.
Billion.
Just call
Yeah,
them
not allowed.
people of
Dawn,
the land.
Dawn.
Matterall will
You're not mad at me
never
about that, are you?
understand it.
I don't even
Matt-
want to explain that one just so he never understands it.
Buckle up, chuckle fucks. That's good. That is good right there. Uno Kubai.
I am 110% sure that Matterall has never even seen Blazing Saddles to understand that one.
Oh my god, really?
Can you imagine him watching Blazing Saddles and understanding a goddamn thing?
I do believe that
Well, he would understand it, but I'm not sure that he could make it through. I don't know, maybe the first scene.
I believe later today they're gonna have Merc, Asher, Brisk, and Num Num maybe on all to talk
Num Nums,
about
yeah.
this week.
Oh no, no, I'm gonna say this now. Like, after hearing that Twitch clip, like, of the dude just like, oh, we lost the Keepstar, and he was so pissed off. I was like, our comms during that fight was just amazing, especially in U.S. time zone. Our comms were hilarious. We had like, we had newbies getting in like newbie frigates and charging the Keepstar, just being told charge the Keepstar in your newbie frigate.
We want to hear your war cry.
It was there were so many references to my brain just blank. Mad Max, just paint me
Okay.
up, you know.
Oh my god.
Witness me.
By the way, Brisk is saying that Dawn is correct. She has the meta show lineup correct, so there we go.
Are you saying that the Reaper was coming for that Keepstar?
Don't fear the Reaper.
No, fly the Reaper right into the Keepstar.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Every time, because I could hear over command when they'd call out for things to do things, they'd be like, "See you in Valhalla," and then they'd call the person's name and send them off to go.
Yeah, that was funny. That was chill back towards the end. He just started calling out random shit towards the end.
But
Also, Eric,
Yes, sir.
chat is noticing that you're making weird noises.
I'm making weird noises? Oh, maybe
Yes.
it's my glasses. Sorry, guys.
I was laughing though. I really just started dying. Someone just started talking up. I was like, "Oh shit, the Keepstar's on pause." So we're like all anxious as fuck. So I just go, "Okay, guys, if you're at a battleship, stay there until it's paused again." So we lost like 40 battleships trying to pause it again. And I'm pretty sure what saved it was that was Ranger Regiment dropping in shit, which those guys were up from like early their time zone till the next morning their time zone. Like they did not
wow.
stop. They
Ranger
were doing work.
kick-ass.
No, like those dudes put in work. So
everyone did. Like, I mean,
oh
we
yeah.
threw bodies at it till it, like, the adage of our corpse will fill your barrels until you can't shoot anymore. That's kind of what we did.
We were practically the Imperial Guard at that point. We were just plugging the holes with more guardsmen, basically. Or even, in better reference, we were the Tyranids, just throw waves of bodies at them until it dies. And that's a 40k reference for those who don't get it.
And I was fully expecting them to drop 2 Keepstars yesterday morning, so I'm kind of surprised they're giving us a respite. I thought they were supposed to be pressuring us.
I think they're giving their own meta
Ding, ding,
respite.
ding,
They're,
ding, ding.
yeah, they're
That's why they're not actually anacondas. because they don't understand about
I-
keeping pressure up.
I really went down the Billy Joel route there, South. Not that route, but that's also a good tune.
Like,
The words in the Billy Joel song might be a little more like this one.
so
Yeah.
some people are wondering like why this particular week. I mean, there were things that added to why this week was the week they tried this, but the quantum cores are coming on Tuesday, Wednesday.
Well, quantum cores are coming Tuesday, Wednesday, but plus, I think China has like some kind of week holiday at the moment.
Yep,
going
they
on.
do. It ends in like a day or two. They have a week-long holiday, so.
And then also the mineral changes are expected to hit probably next week as well.
And
Yep.
obviously spooky trig shit, which might have some impact. Don't know.
Oh, a lot of shit happening next week.
Basically, everything's going down on Tuesday.
Let's
Right.
just drop a barrel of monkeys on the game and see what happens in the middle of a giant war. Okay.
And then on top of that, we're going to drop some keep stars to cause the largest
I'm
fight.
sure.
Hey, they did it when we were glassing the north. Fuck it, they can do it while you know,
Yeah, no.
Happy's trying to glass the south.
It's only fair, right? Same treatment for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Except it isn't really same treatment. It's same treatment for everyone now, but it wasn't really same treatment for everyone
Then
when it happened up north, because it was predominantly like way more localized on Delve areas.
I will say though.
No. They wouldn't. No, Matt. I think no.
They wouldn't do that.
No.
I do gotta point this out. Good shit on Init. Init the other day sniped the GOPI hub, and it was on 30 days before out of 35 to put inhibs up in system. And it's like they had like I think 50 Kikis versus 100-man Jackdaw fleet. The Jackdaw FD I guess warped onto Init at 0, and Init was in Kikis, and it did not end well.
Well, rip
I
that
think
one.
they could end well.
Literally getting anywhere near an Init Kiki fleet, anything is not a good idea. Like you pull range, don't go near them.
Cool
By the
range,
way-
do not ball up. Yeah.
To the folks who thought when I
Just throw it
said
in.
35 what LOL in my ping, that was kind of like, you know, me making fun of them, like, oh, 35 what? Oops, sorry.
We were all having fun with our pings on Tuesday. I sent one to Theta and I was like, come my ducklings.
Oh, ducklings.
Yeah, I was FCing for like 14 hours or so during that, which I literally got up, went to all my classes, then had immediately right after my last class we pinged. So
I don't want to say that, you know, I don't want to get in a fight with Horrendous over blue cheese again, all right? But duck wings versus chicken wings. Buffalo duck wings, baby. Those are yummy.
Ducklings, like with an L.
Oh,
They are, Eric,
God.
they are snakes. We are ducks. You get it now?
Quack, quack, waddle, waddle. We're from Camp Nippersink. You guys know that commercial?
nope.
That was in a McDonald's commercial, I think. I'm about to go look through the McDonald's commercial history and find that
Eric, look and stuff.
stuff.
It's a little in joke for Theta.
Is
You know what really annoys me?
Is that the honk?
You know the one.
Honk.
You know the one thing that has annoyed me today.
But
The
it's
one
but
thing
it's
that has annoyed
a
me
isn't it a
today.
goose that honks? The duck doesn't really honk, does it?
True.
It's a goose, yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I like the honk
Goose
though.
game. Untitled Goose Game. Get it, play it, be happy.
The goose game?
Entitled Goose Game.
Yes.
The
feel like-
entitled. Okay.
Screwing everything up.
I hate geese.
These
Like
are
the most
fucking
whole-
mean.
So
it's like the most wholesome game in the world.
we have a lot of
Yeah,
Canadian geese here.
Jesus
Go ahead,
Christ.
Redis. Go ahead, Redis.
What?
Canadian geese.
No, all geese. All geese are fucking
Evil,
mean.
spiteful bird.
So, what do we think's going to happen next week? Are they going to drop another keep?
I think that
Hey,
geese will continue to be evil, spiteful birds. I mean,
Wait, next week? You
Yeah.
think the server will come up like totally fine after that patch?
We all fucked up.
It'll be fine. It will be
But, like,
fine.
if
I
they
mean-
didn't keep yesterday and they haven't dropped one yet
What the
today.
hell is this bullshit? How many weeks straight now has this show actually been mostly discussing Eve?
I know it's so wrong,
The hell-
but
What the hell happened to you people?
Because I'm motivated.
We have a war on Horrendous, and we have to shit on our enemies.
Like literally, external factors are pushing me into playing Eve for more hours per week, which
Mhm.
But this is the end result, unfortunately.
External factors are preventing the activation of your actual life.
I'll probably be back.
Yes. I was editing a bunch of motion graphics like last night while watching Starship Troopers. With a bunch of people. That was fun.
Just to be clear, McLeod, how does your editing of motion graphics compare to my animation skills that are on full display on screen?
Yours is sufficiently faster, so your turnaround time is fantastic. That's all I shall say about that.
Oh, I am fully open to true comments here because I made
Nah,
it.
dude, like, dude,
no
there's the no effort stuff sometimes works so much better than full effort stuff.
Yes. I mean, I was there like, oh, I could have spent like 20 minutes doing spotlights in the top corners as well and shit. And I was like, nah.
Nah, fuck it. Like ask anybody who has a YouTube channel as well, and posts YouTube videos. Sometimes the most, the video that you upload that you've spent so much time on just doesn't get anywhere near the traction that like something that you've spent like 5 minutes on and don't really care about.
Yeah.
It's just fucking retarded. It is just
Definitely.
completely ridiculous.
Yeah, but then I take it you guys know who the YouTuber Tom Scott is, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing
Okay.
he's British.
He's British, he does semi-educational videos. He did a topic one last year of when he used to do stuff like this, for an old company. And he said, there's no point spending 30 hours on an amazing piece of web something to put it out there and have no luck. You're better off spending 30 hours on 30 different things and just shotgun it, because one of them is going to get popular just through pure
It's
luck.
like a viral,
right?
kind of like a viral. It's a sort of a viral shotgunning thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not really a new thing.
Well, he did that talk like 6 years ago or something.
No, but I mean that whole philosophy isn't at all a new thing. I mean, look at Richard Bachman. King wrote under the Bachman pseudonym purely to see if, it was just the fact that it was his name after producing so much shit that was selling his books. Guess
Let
what?
me guess. It was?
It was because you put so much shit out there, people get name recognition, and yeah.
Yeah.
you guys are awfully quiet today.
I'm relaxing now after a fleet. Just spamming the absolute living crap out of my broadcast history to try and lock stuff for the past like hour and a bit, like through 3 characters. I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna relax. I'm relaxing as well, also because I didn't die, and that pissed me off because I only have 5 hours left on my platinum insurance.
For what ship?
It's just not bad, but fuck it.
Hmm. They're bad.
Well,
You should.
Baden times 3.
I mean, I lost like 400 something battleships the other day. You should have been on my fleet.
I should come on, you should like broadcast your fleets as like, hey guys, if you have platinum insurance that you want to get rid of, come to my fleet.
like when we pinged the Rogues, like I pinged the first battleship fleet during the second Keepstar timer, and
Yeah.
so we pinged out Rogue. We lost like four like 70 Rogues, and then I lost like 100 megas on top of that plus Balgorns. And then I did the math. It was like $8,000 in battleships, and I go, "Damn it, this is more than I made this whole summer." But again, insurance and their T1 battleships, I was hyped. Like we had so much fun. My fleet did so.
Yeah, sometimes I'm there kind of going like, oh, I'm kind of ISK poor, but I'm asset rich like crazy. I just need to throw stuff at enemies and have it get murdered just to sort of like convert that over.
Yeah. I think Brave does that so they get more value.
And it's funny because what was the sort of like somewhat recent bullshit that I heard was like, oh yeah, you know, Groots don't have any more assets. They're throwing like ratting stuff at us.
We just put the crabs in crabbing ships.
I mean, look, when everyone bitches about we're no longer a PvP force, we're just a crab alliance. What do you think we're going to do with all the crabolts when you turn up on our doorstep?
Well, we
Hey,
all.
But the other thing,
if
the
it
other
ain't
thing
broke,
is like
don't fix it.
the other thing is like you look at some of the fits and you kind of think like, you know, what do you want to do with it? Like on a Keepstar that isn't going to fire back. Like if you could put drones on it and then just like, you know, orbit it and go a fucking ridiculous speed with a low sig, you're fucking golden. Like that. No more input necessary until you're dead, and then just
That's the
reship.
thing, right? When I first saw it going out that we were doing some ratting fleet with stuff, I was there like, huh? And I went, oh, I get this.
Bing.
And then my first thing was like a DM to Mike going, they're doing what I think they're doing, aren't they? Yep. Drones on the Keepstar, orbit at full speed, and literally just go AFK.
Like not gonna lie, the long range, like things like long range Nagas, like Ravens, Rogues, that kind of thing. They're all good and well and everything like that. The only issue is when you land at a kind of like a good range, you know, in order to apply. Like even with a like afterburner full on, you're at full speed. Like you're still gonna take a fuck ton of damage from, you know, from long range dreads and even fucking short range dreads to some degree. Like if you've got like a short range like Revelation with Scorch on, like you're still gonna track you at a decent range.
Oh sure.
But when you're in like a cruiser or a battle cruiser, like, and you got your overpropped afterburner, like, nah, man,
100
it's not gonna
men
happen.
on a merm, right?
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like-
You're not going
And
to.
that's the thing. If that's characters that can't fly Doctrine ships anyway,
Yeah, fuck it.
you might as well, because otherwise they're sat in 1DQ or whatever system you're at in, doing nothing.
And aside from a few of the modules, you could basically get the modules like I'd been doing ratting in like Delve and like Queries and that kind of area for a little while. You get like some decent modules to remake new ratting ships fairly well. Like the amount of large compact PC, large compact like cat batteries that just drop. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
The amount of 100 meganewton afterburners that drop, ridiculous. Like,
I mean, here's the thing, right? At the end of the day, I'm not going to say it wasn't well thought out. I'm going to say if there was more time to theorize this and make it something bigger, there could have been an aspect of, okay, everyone who's got any ults in Delve, here is a literally just T1 fit merm. It'll take 20 minutes to train.
yeah. I literally
And
went
then
to.
one, right?
I was curious. I was curious at one point, and I just went onto Python. I was like, you know, how quickly could you refit a merm to be like, you know, combat capable? That's pretty good. Like, I mean, if you're eking out the absolute most that you can out of it, like, you know, there's options to explore there that like will help you in certain ways. But like, it's fucking easy, man. Easy
Mhm.
street.
I mean, yeah, when you can train a new ship for it in 20 minutes, fuck it. It's piss easy. Okay, yes, you won't exactly have all 5 drones if you're doing it a certain way, but
Oh, fuck it.
you know, hell, use a refer a friend and get a pretty damn well skilled one there and then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Take care, dude.
I think Arenda said something along the lines of he has to go and buy.
Yeah, he
Yes. He did.
did. And I think Eric is
Eric's
missing.
dead. I don't know. Eric.
I'm back. I'm
There
back.
he is.
Missing in action.
Eric's back. And he's still.
And now he's hot micing.
No, he's
No, I'm here.
he's there. He is that it?
I'm here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You guys could hear me.
you were
The
saying
stream
stuff
could
I
not
couldn't
hear me.
you, so, yeah.
You guys could hear
Well,
me, but the
could not.
stream could not hear me. I muted them. Sorry, guys.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
But yes. So I'm back. Just had a little quick thing to take care of. Sorry, guys.
Do we want to mention anything about Eve Down Under this morning?
Eve Down Under.
Yeah, they did a digital Eve Down Under.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't seen any of the
is it
coverage yet, so I
digital?
can't comment.
There was
I
an
haven't seen-
interesting Q&A, should we say that? Obviously, they mentioned no FanFest next year. They are going to work on something to replace it. Turns
Vegas.
out it's because coronavirus keeps going, right? And I mean, they were being
Well, they-
cautious then.
they-
I get
They
that.
announced a long while ago that CCP weren't going to be doing any events through 2021. They announced that like way back in
When
May, I think,
2020
when they
going down, yeah.
when they
all
cancelled
virtual.
San Diego.
So is Eve Down Under all virtual basically?
Yes, EDU was all virtual. They had a stream. It was chill, you know.
Cool with that.
Larrikin confirmed that Angel Caps were being worked on somewhere, but they're not on the timeline at this point. Maybe they'll still come back because they are like a
Ooh,
little
okay.
bit of this.
They were
That's
just
news.
they
Yeah,
just fell down the ladder in terms of prioritization. That's all.
Yeah,
Who
and
would
you
have
know what,
thought
right?
that would happen? I mean,
No,
none of
no.
us saw that happening.
Here's the thing. I actually want to say something. You know how we rip into CCP for not being able to trust them?
No,
I think
no.
Larkin-
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Funny.
When have we
Never
ever
do
done
that.
this?
Very funny. So I'm going to give them credit for that one. Larrikin was pretty open about it, you know, and he was there like, look, it pains me that it didn't happen.
Well,
You
half
know,
their
I
issue
wanted
was
it
they
done. It's a
didn't,
pet.
they,
No,
they
no,
didn't know how
wait.
to bring them into the game.
Wait,
Yeah.
there's one thing here, right? And we bring this up all the time. We don't have a problem with the people working at CCP. We love them,
Right.
all right? Well, most of them.
Can I raise my hand here?
They are awesome, awesome people.
I
didn't like Falcon. Okay, sorry. Okay, got that out of my chest. I'm good.
It's okay because he doesn't even in there anymore. Then.
I know it's terrible.
We have a problem with the company as a whole.
Yes, yeah. And I mean, that's what I mean by Larrikin seemed pretty. I want to say apologetic, but it wasn't quite. But it's down that track, right? And he was there like,
disappointed.
look, I wanted to do it. It fell down the wayside because bigger stuff come up. I really want to get around to doing it because, you know, it's a little pet thing of mine. And I can't promise it's going to happen, but I'm trying. Was basically the TLDR of it. Then they asked some crap about favorite content this year. And it was, you know, that was random, you know, pick your thing from this year. And again, I think it was Larrikin there. Actually, no, it wasn't Larrikin. It was one of the other guys. I can't think his name. Begins with P.
There was 2 others.
Yeah, because there was Convict Larrikin and P something. And he turned around and went about content that is yet to come out. And he is really fucking liking the look of it. Paragon, that's it. Someone got it. Yeah. And it was like, yeah, the best bit I've seen is what's yet to come, and I'm gonna get, like, absolutely ripped a new one if I spoil this.
Are you doing a Frank Sinatra thing there?
In what way?
Come on, Eric, help them out.
What? Sorry, I was
Best-
multitasking, slightly distracted. Sorry. Sinatra. I love Sinatra.
That's
You
just
know,
because
they-
Bart was just doing the best is yet to come.
I fear that they keep hinting at this big thing that's about to happen that they really want to talk about, but they can't because spoilers and shit. I really, really hope that will actually work out.
Oh yeah.
I will say
I-
this: if this isn't actually huge, then CCP are gonna see a hell of a lot of disappointment from the community, and probably, as we would expect from a community that has been repeatedly let down and repeatedly expressed their irritation at being repeatedly let down, they'll
I don't know,
probably see
Dirk, like-
a hell of a lot of angry posts as well.
So
I don't know, Dirk, because
that's-
you're talking about.
That's not something I'd like to see.
You're talking
Clarify
about
something, right?
you're talking about like the Eve community, right? Like the Eve community essentially like takes something that's said by CCP and then runs it to the most insane kind of scenario and situation. Like, there's people out there who are going like, oh, the all of the gates in the entirety of New Eden are going to turn off, and so there will be people out there
Yeah,
who will
and-
probably post. Like CCP's, just wants the game to die or end if that doesn't happen.
And those
you
are,
can't
those are always
satisfy those sorts of people.
outliers. Those
Yeah,
are
but-
always outliers, and I appreciate that. But I'm not talking about those kind of people. I'm talking about the people who
Like
would
normal,
listen to
general,
this show,
sensible people?
for example. People who would
I-
come on and be in our Twitch chat and be like, "Hey, so this sounds cool and all, but are they going to actually make it?" And are they?
The thing is here, and I know I'm bringing up history a lot today, right? But in the past, CCP has often hyped up things that are to come, and then it turned out to be some high-sec only stuff.
So
They can't just
Can I
drop
clarify a point here? With the context of what was being talked about on stream, I'm going to say it is, yes, something trig related, right? He wasn't saying it's big content or anything tied to NullSec, right, or the mineral redistribution. It was just the implication of there is something coming that he likes soon.
Was that Larry?
Like, it was Larrikin or Paragon. I'm genuinely getting confused on which one of them it was at this point.
That sounds like it's something to do with the progression and further iteration on the whole AI and PvE stuff, right? Because they've been aiming for something very.
No, Caleb. This is the way he said it. It's too close to being out to be something like that. Given
To be fair,
how
there's a
much
comment. There's a comment in Twitch chat that I would like to bring up just at this point as we're discussing, hey, CCP overhype and then underdeliver. And that's from Arani, who says, to be honest, most of us just play our own game. We don't really care too much about what CCP does or doesn't do. It seems to be more some of the more vocal players who end up disappointed. And I'll be honest, I'm reading that, and I just think that's a bit sad, almost. Like,
it's not sad as such, Dirk. Like, it's kind of like it's a bit human nature, but like what to the point that you made earlier, Dirk. Like, if you'd have told me 3 years ago that CCP was going to basically have an NPC group like literally take over a bunch of high sec and low sec kind of systems and then cut them completely off, like I'd have told you were fucking crazy and that I would never fucking do something as mental as that.
Yeah, and then the three factions within that one faction are going to end up going to war with each other because they're actually fighting each other already. So,
But regardless, even
I've got
just that initial,
the content is surrounding that.
even that initial kind of thing is just, you know, that like if you told me that like 3-4 years ago, I would have said you're fucking crazy. So to some degree,
That's fair.
the whole like, you know, if they don't do something radical, then people will be disappointed. Like to some degree, this is a bit like, you know, putting a fucking lobster in cold water and like slowly boiling it rather than throwing it straight in. Like you're still gonna get that fucking cooked lobster, but like,
You know, you cook them under pressure and heat at the same time, and then the shells just fall off.
Ding, ding.
Ding,
But,
ding,
yeah,
ding, 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 ding.
point is you're still getting to that final point, like, you know, but people are like, you know, if it takes a long fucking while for that, then people are gonna there may be some people who look at it and go, CCP aren't being radical enough. But if you actually look at it at a bit of a longer timeline, like
Forever?
just the shit that they're doing now that we pretty much know is going to happen is fucking radical in itself.
This is also why I get a little bit annoyed at the CCP hatred, right? It resembles a Gurgoon thing. It's based on nothing and it's basically bullshit. You can criticize for individual things and small details that mess up your game or changes that have consequences that CCP might not really have predicted or listened to.
Or cared about.
If they've been warned. No, stop with this shit. Because seriously, go back and look, right? Since day one, and if you go and look at all the patches, with the maybe with the exception of the Summer of Rage, they have really always pushed the envelope. They've always given us new and interesting things. And based on how old and flat the game really is, it's still the best thing out there.
Who
I
invite?
think I think Nosek wants to disagree with you there.
Who invited
I think
Caleb
most
to the
of them are
show,
aware.
and who let him talk? That's banned. No more speech like that on this show. You shut up.
Okay, let me get back onto the original point anyway, because like you all sidetracked this. Whichever dev it was saying it said it as it's coming soon, not it's coming in. I mean, it was even explicitly stated it's not 2-3 months down the line. It's soon, and we're about to see it. Which to me is okay. We're seeing the Trig shit Tuesday. That's confirmed at this point.
Yeah, but
It's whatever that Trig shit is.
The whole question was, what do you like in 2020?
But the thing is that trick shit gonna affect more than just high-sec players?
Yes. I don't think you realise what's about to go down with itself.
I don't think you know what's about to go down with it.
We have
If
some
they-
good ideas of what they're about to do. And if it's
Here's the thing: if they cut off the Stargates that for the invasions that actually made it to the final stage, which is the reasonable look at what they're about to do, it's going to do absolutely nothing for any of the nullsec players who have already rerouted their logistics pipelines and everything around those systems.
Sure. But the implication
Like,
isn't
we're just going to
that
carry on
we're-
with our war, and
That's not just the implication,
Yeah.
though, Dirk. Like, there's talk of this having entrances through minor victories and metaliminal storms, shit like that, right? That could do basically fast travel around the map, but not quite fast travel. You know, more
So,
controlled wormholes.
drifter wormholes.
Not
all over again.
bespoke, but like, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
drifter
wormholes
wormholes
again.
The dreads are basically being shat out at this point. You know, it's... And there's a bunch of other things that we're not sure what's going on.
I think it's a lot bigger than that.
Oh,
someone
it absolutely
if
is.
someone like Larrikin is this hot on it, this ties back to some of the things that we've been tinfoiling on TIS. I think it's fairly obvious that it's a further progression and iteration on some of the things that started when they brought in things like the whole new AI system and the drifters and all that stuff, right? It's the big dream that they've had since like forever. A lot of it has not been technically feasible, but we're getting there. And I think that it ties directly into the fact that we've basically been introduced to a, well, maybe not playable, but almost new playable race, right? With the the fact that they have launched the Empire of Bujan, right, with the Trigs, and they're going to now live in our space, and we're going to be able to interact with them and partake in their activities. And I see them very much like goons. They are the enemy that turns out to be the savior, right? Because the next big thing is going to be most likely Drifter based. It's going to be something that leads to an all-out, almost war. Very much like what Pappy will face on the other side of this war. But
no, shush.
Yeah, shush. The point is, we're going to see some of the activities and dreams of very old school CCP most likely taking shape in the game, and I think it's going to be tied into something that Arendis keeps talking about, some shenanigans drama with I think it's with the Minmatar and Kaldari. It's something very lore-esque that I don't really understand, but I still believe that we're going to get we will get the tension where all the mechanics that we've seen with Trigs are going to be potentially added onto the Empires, and all of our activity in EVE will start mattering. We've been now conditioned to, if you fight in this Trig thing, you're choosing a side. Now I think CCP is going to double down on that and say, well, you know how we didn't really do that with the Empires and all that stuff, so standings didn't really matter on a serious level? Well, you're going to get that now, and now you're going to have to choose who you play for and why.
Unless you live in Nullsec, then you still don't give a shit.
Well, you will in the fact that you will participate indirectly because of the now interdependency, right?
There's some incentives for giving a shit. It's not an absolute, it's not a necessity, but like there's like definitely incentives for giving a shit, for sure.
Exactly like Niaja, right? You don't need to give a shit, but it makes sense for you to consider what implications can high-sec stuff and PvE shenanigans have on your gameplay.
And just so you know, by incentives, I don't just mean like lower prices for fucking EdenCom bullshit ships that are fucking terrible.
It's lower prices for Trig Dreadnoughts at this point.
I mean, not even that. Like, I'm not talking about lower prices on anything. Like,
the problem I see here is if they limit the shit to high sec, it is even more opportunities for gameplay in high sec, and null sec still gets nothing. Right?
It's not being limited.
You're very likely to be getting a proper pass on the SOV system because they've already started talking about it.
Oh, come on! Fuck off, Caleb!
Can I just point out?
I thought the SOV system is perfect, right? Because they completely redesigned it so it was perfect.
There was a statement from CCP earlier this year. I think it may have been Ratati back in March, specifically saying that they weren't going to look at the SOV system in the next year. Like, the SOV system is not a priority right now. I think that's been made very clear in a number of ways.
That's true.
And
I feel like SOV is.
It's next on the list when they have finished.
Next on the list.
It's next on the list. So as and when they finish the ecosystem changes, wonderful.
Yes. So that was said on stream back along.
So we can go ahead and anticipate, given the rate of change, that we're not going to be looking at a new SOV system being developed or really focused on as a serious priority until at least the middle of next year, which means deployment by Christmas 2021?
No, they're first going to talk about it.
Yeah.
They first going to talk about it at next FanFest.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to react to Soapmaster over there who says, "Who cares? No one plays in nullsec, right? You know." Okay. I mean, seriously. So it was sarcastic. It looks like it was sarcastic, perhaps. There, I think we all misinterpreted that. It's like
nullsec, not so much.
You can't look at SOV until you have finished the ecosystem changes and the industry changes. You have to get those rolled out before you can integrate a new and innovative SOV system into
yes,
that.
But that again is CCP not understanding what the fucking problem is. The SOV system is not the fucking goddamn problem here. It is a problem, right? Because it sucks, but it's not the problem. There needs to be incentive for players to play in nullsec, alright? So that players have a reason to fight over nullsec. The only reason we have
we just lost all our minerals. Isn't that enough for you, Solve? I mean,
to be fair, there's
a reason not to fight.
I know.
There's two different points that you've made there. One is reason for people to live in nullsec. The other is reason for people to fight in nullsec. And I would say that one is the other. There is no real conflict incentive in nullsec right now, apart from our own fucking grudge matches. And that's not sustainable. But realistically, the entire reason you should want to live in nullsec is to be able to fight other players.
And this
without fucking around with low sec mechanics or, war decks or any other of that bullshit. Just let us slug it out, and figure out a way to make it so that we can afford to slug it out.
And it hasn't mattered because the conditions of loss did not exist.
No, we are not slugging it out.
So the whole point. Can I have the floor for a second? I've been silent all of this fucking show. The point is, if you do not have a value and utility of the space that you live in, if all space is equal and you don't have any meaningful loss, then the game is dead and there's no win condition, right? So first you need to fix the ecosystem. Then the second is to actually have something that's assailable, you have to fix the structure system. You have to have skin in the game. But that's what they're doing. No, because it's been so broken from very, very bad design choices for at least 5 years, right? This started way back in 12 or 13, when we started talking about self-sufficiency bullshit, which is the worst thing to do in an ecosystem and economic simulator sandbox game, because you're basically breaking the fucking premise of economy 101 when you're saying everyone should be able to grow bananas and oranges everywhere. It's just so dumb. It's a fundamental of the game. So if they fix this, and they have started doing that, maybe it's been a little bit bad in the rollout and how it's been implemented, but the intention is fundamentally correct. The next one is industry. When industry, so structures and space matters, then you can bring in the actual new ideas of solve, and you're going to get maybe the alpha version of that with the way that they're going to nerf the bounty system, right? So ratting, they're going to bring in this variant ESS, and I'm not entirely sure what it looks like. It's not an ESS and it's not an admin hub, but it's something in between. And Kenneth Feld kind of didn't leak, but he smug and vague posted with his comments when he was on TIS. So you are seeing this being developed, and the proper solve is then going to be developed from January forward.
Okay, look, we've already had this discussion about the ESS. It's literally just a fucking ESS that's forced into place.
You keep saying that, but that just doesn't.
That's what they said on their own fucking stream announcing.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Caleb.
It is a new variant of the ESS. It's not just the ESS.
Caleb.
Well, no, they recreated it, but it's basically the same feature set along with a warp
That's like
bubble.
saying structures is just pauses.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
That's like saying that the fucking
when the mechanics are at least 50% or greater the same, there's a strong kind of there's a strong reason to say that it is basically the same as it is more or less. Well, it's actually more similar to the previous thing than it being something brand new. And from what I've seen, from what I've heard about this new, ESS thing that they want to put together, it is definitely more than 50%, of the same mechanics of the ESS.
It's a copy paste into a new shell. with a
So when something's
like a warp bubble and forced spawning a sun.
yeah, so when you know
Well, I mean, the force
you
spawning
can't
is the only
claim
difference.
you
They
can't
already have
you can't
warp bubbles.
Right.
you can't
Oh,
say
sorry,
that it's
okay.
you can't
First
say
of
that it's
all-
different when it's fundamentally the same thing.
The thing is, no matter if it's an ESS or not, it doesn't matter at all, right?
No,
Because
that
the
was my
problem-
point, Sof. Caleb seemed to be implying it was something more than just an ESS that affected Sof, or was tied into Sof.
I don't care.
It's not.
Like,
It's
even if it's
literally just
more than
ESS.
that, it doesn't matter. Because what we need is something that will lead to fighting within groups, not between groups. Because in the last years, we've been getting less and less big groups that fight, right? Because they are all joining up against each other. We've been going towards the blue donut more and more, and that's because there's nothing to fight over. And when I say nothing to fight over, I mean not just to fight over with your enemies, but also with your friends.
I mean, take a look at CO2.
One of the
right?
one of the one, sorry, go for it, Doug.
CO2 when they were getting really fucking antsy before they split in the casino war, CO2 spent years having issues with their income. Now, it turned out that was because they had a bad actor within their director group. But
Multiple.
They had, well, multiple bad actors, fair enough, but they had one specific bad actor that was responsible for a lot of their financial problems. And no matter how much SOV they took, no matter how much space, no matter how many moons, they simply couldn't keep up with this bad actor because he was so embedded. And that then caused them to get really antsy with the rest of the Imperium. And then it caused them to split in the middle of a major conflict and try, at least, to maneuver Imperium supercapitals into a position where, when CO2 split off, those supercapitals could be ambushed and killed.
Nah, that wasn't really
Yeah,
going to happen. Come on.
That whole situation is exactly what Soth is talking about. And realistically, I think the last proper example that we could make of that was the judge when he flipped from CO2 and took the Keep Star and everything with him. We haven't seen that in years.
So the funny thing is, the funny thing is, this all points to a few certain things, which isn't related to SOV. It isn't. It's sort of tangentially related to resources. There was a lot of situations where groups kind of imploded or had issues, like internal issues, when there was, when we didn't have, bottom up kind of alliance finances, that kind of thing. And that's one of the issues there, is the fact that, now that we have the soft system that we have, and that we have the, we don't have passive moon mining, but we have active moon mining, that kind of thing, is, you don't have the capacity for one person to be able to screw over a bunch of other people and then cause internal strife, right? The other issue as well is one of trust, right? The ESI that we have at the moment kind of forces people to not trust people. I can't give you an account ESI that tells you of every single character on one of my accounts. I can only give you a character one. I can give you a shit ton of information about that one character, but that's it. So it causes people to not want to trust, or not want to allow themselves to trust, more people, bring more people into the fold, which reduces the capacity for, interesting, subversive and spy-based kind of situations to occur within groups, or just or kind of like that kind of stuff to occur. So you end up with you end up with one more stable groups, which means that like the conflicts are external rather than internal, and it also means that you end up with groups that are very like the leadership and the hard working kind of areas of those groups are like it's basically like a men's club kind of thing. Like I don't mean that in terms of like gender specific, but it's like it's its own little club, like, and it's very much impenetrable by new people in some way, shape, or form. So you end up in these situations where, like, yeah, you're not going to get internal strife, internal drama as much as we used to, because the opportunities are just not there. And why are they not there? Because of the way that CCP has changed things and removed things.
This is where something like account unification might make sense to put back on the table, right? Maybe instead of all these secondary and tertiary and all the way up to several hundred accounts, maybe it should just be one account with a lot of actual characters.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do anything though.
Yes, it does, because then the ESI is based on character, and then you can add something like a hard limit where only one account per IP.
Well, the issue isn't
ESI is already
characters.
character linked.
Yeah, the issue isn't the issue is like being able to give someone a holistic, like, full kind of thing that isn't just bound by one character. Because that's the problem. Like,
I think you missed the point. If you folded every current alternate account into one account, right, where all the characters were managed, it would need a really good UI. But the point is that then the ESI becomes account based, and you can manage that, and then you can lock.
Well, no, the issue.
Caleb,
the issue is the ESI isn't account based.
ESI has always been character based. The old Crest API was account based. Sorry, Aurea.
The second we're asking CCP to allow players to get other player account details, things are going wrong.
How do you mean by that?
I shouldn't have to. I mean, it was great when people gave me account information in the old system. I shouldn't need to know when was the last time you renewed your subscription. Account details that should not be in the ESI at all. I shouldn't have to know, well, what's your full footprint? What's your logging names? What's your username? What's your password? Not your password, your email address. All that account level stuff should be gone. You shouldn't have to be able to know how many characters a person has.
And it is
that's an issue there though. That's an issue there though, Aria, because like, in terms of being able to trust somebody, like there's two ways of being able to do this, right? Two ways for CCP to be able to allow players to be able to trust each other more so than they are at the moment. One, you can allow a lot more granularity when it comes to all the various different things that like alliances and coalitions and stuff like that need to kind of distribute trust and distribute kind of like control over things too. That ain't gonna happen because that requires a shit ton, like an absolute shit ton of dev hours and man hours to be able to kind of to be able to develop sufficiently. The only other way is being able to is for players to be able to give credentials of themselves and of their account, which may not be stuff to do with like their like account age or sort of like their whether they're omega or alpha, or whether they're omega or whether they're alpha, or whether they their email address or anything like that kind of stuff, but just whether they have more than one, like just what other characters are on the account, because it's a question. It's a question of like how high the bar is for somebody to be a spy. If it just means, oh, I need to spin up a character on one of my accounts that, like, that doesn't have like only has, like, say 2 people on, right? And I can spin a third one up and that's fine. Like, then that's super, super low bar. But if I have to make a brand new account in order to do it, that's a higher bar.
So I'm
Yeah,
going to ask
you could take this to a
question
further
here.
level. You could say, to join my group, you need to install this software on your computer. I can see all your accounts with all your characters. In fact, I can
and you're not
playing other games with enemies of my Eve within
Yeah.
Eve.
Yeah, and
I mean,
there have been groups
That's
that have
not
done
trust, though. That's not trust. That's the opposite of trust.
This is Eve.
that.
There is no
That's
trust.
building trust. That's going, I don't trust you, but I'm going to use something to allow me to trust you to an extent.
Yeah, it's trust but
And then you
verify,
build
man.
that trust after that. But
Trust
there's
but
nothing
verify.
that allows you to even start doing that.
Can
It doesn't
I
even
just
doesn't even
jump
allow
in
you
on
to
something
start
else
that.
anyway here, because Caleb's idea has one big question left in it. Caleb, can you even log multiple characters in at a time if you unify them under one account?
The whole point of account unification is that what you're used to right now, where you add accounts on the launcher, you just added characters instead. It's pretty much something that was talked about way back, and then the launcher could actually be a unified launcher for all games on the CCP.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
kind of-
if you
under
if
CCP.
so if you
So-
Brad, the idea is, so you pay, say, you pay for 3 Omega accounts. You can log in any of your characters, but up to 3, because you've
Right.
paid for 3 Omega accounts.
Any 3.
Yeah.
It would
Okay.
then it then needs a whole new level of, like, okay, what are you doing with those other characters? Do you then have 3 Omega characters and the rest are Alpha and they train as Alphas? Or do you have the 3 Omega characters and the rest of them are Alpha'd and you can't train them, or you can only train one of those Alpha characters at any one time? And there are other significant questions here, but the thing we were talking about there was ESI and API level access to the account information, so the characters and what have you. And the unified launcher, Caleb, doesn't answer any of the unified launcher doesn't answer any of the questions about external application interfaces with CCP's database information that they provide us access to through the ESI or the old Crest API or the APIs before that. Because the current ESI system is and was designed initially to be a character level interface, not an account level interface, because they specifically decided, and we did an interview with Team TechCo at Amsterdam with one of the guys from Team TechCo, CCP Bartender, at Amsterdam 2017, I think, where we talked about this, and they said it was one of their design principles that they wanted to get away from providing so much account level information. They don't want to do that at the minute, and so at that point,
and I get
is still perfectly valid even under your account unification.
And I get, like, CCP wanting to look to remove the sheer volume of information that you can get from about, like, a person, say a person's account or a person's character. Like there's sometimes there's too much information. Like one example is purely like how much information you get from kill mails these days. Like there's just too much information. Like there's not a reason why there's that amount of information should be available to the player base. But yeah. When it comes to like account information versus like just like the amount of information that you get from a character, like there's a degree of trust that you can get from giving people a certain amount of account information. You don't need obviously like the most ridiculous amount of account information, that almost basically doxes you. Like, there's no need
You
for
should never
that.
give account information, especially not on the unified account ideas. Then you only give character information, and I think the whole requirement of some groups to have pretty much, well, there's even memes and jokes made about it, how much vetting goes on. I think it's CCP catering to lazy mode. If you don't want to do that work yourself, you shouldn't get it for free from CCP. That's just dumb.
It's the amount of
okay, so the
effort
issue
that goes into the amount of effort that goes into counter intel in a lot of groups puts a hell of a lot of other aspects to shame. I mean, Kenneth mentioned in the CSM Discord just the other day, you know, that they tell CCP these things, or and you know, when they have these discussions, people in the room honestly are amazed at how much just design work, development work, man hours goes into recruitment standards. You know, an organization like Karma Fleet has a custom website that they run. They ask for ESI details, and it takes, you know, depending on the number of characters that people put in, it can take, you know, up to a couple of hours to process a guy's application on that level, because we want to make sure that we're not exposing our group to unnecessary risk. Sphere ZA in Twitch chat says, yeah, it's called SEAT. No, Karma Fleet breaks SEAT every damn time, unfortunately. Yeah. Just in terms of the sheer numbers, SEAT doesn't work for Karma Fleet.
He's trying to say seat.
Yeah.
He's saying it, but like the car company.
Here, seat. Just call it seat.
But yeah, when you
I mean,
get to when you get
to go
when you
to
get to Karma Fleet
SDAT
size,
if you really prefer.
when you get to Karma Fleet size, like certain applications just doesn't like function as anywhere near as efficiently as it needs to be. So yeah, you end up with a custom solution that I believe they have, right? Like I believe you guys use a custom solution for that kind of stuff, because otherwise, like,
Yeah,
you'd just not be able to recruit at all.
Yeah, it was
Fundamentally,
coded
it's still-
internally.
It's still flattening and trying to automate HR, right? In the old days, before all this crest,
It's
and
because
API
nobody
stuff,
gets paid,
doesn't
Caleb,
matter.
for
The
HR.
point is, if you want
It does matter,
organizations-
because eventually it does
No, because
matter,
now you're
Caleb.
using
Yes,
a-
it does matter.
You're using a dunk argument. You're saying that it's tedium and it shouldn't exist. Well, then organizations of that size should not exist. If you don't want to dedicate the specialized services in your organization for the specific roles that are required, you do not deserve a size of that, an organization of that size. I think HR and old school recruitment and interviews
I guess
should be a thing again.
that is correct. I get where you're coming from, Caleb. The thing is, when it comes to HR, you need to trust a lot of people to be able to, you know, to be able to do those tasks. You can't just trust one or two people to be able to do those tasks, because like the workload is insane for that kind of thing.
But that's a
Yeah. So you need to build that trust, and building that trust takes time, a long fucking time, because when the bar is set so low in terms of being able to, you know, put a character into an alliance, especially an alliance that has like open recruiting, you know, in the form of Karma Fleet, or in the form of like, what's the fucking called? I literally looking. I can literally kind of. I don't know why I'm having a fucking mind blank on it, but whatever. But you know, like when you have groups with like open recruitment policies, like getting somebody into that is super fucking easy. And when the bar is super low, to be able to sort of like put together trust, like you can't trust people implicitly straight away, because it's too fucking easy to be able to get someone in.
On your face, because you're basically contradicting
go for
yourself,
it.
right? You're basically saying that we're missing these points of failure and trust things in the game, and then when I say, well, back in the day before all these tools flattened that, these actual activities and trust levels and points of failure existed, and they were part of the thing that made the game fun. And someone is saying, well, you haven't
didn't flatten that. Caleb.
There's a problem there.
CCP
because-
flattened it in other ways.
Because we actually had more information with the old API than we have now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the old API. I'm talking
Well,
about the
are you
no
talking before the
API.
old API?
I'm talking about no
He's ta-
API.
When there was zero API. Yeah, but when there was zero API, there was a lot less. There was a lot less like options for people to be able to, you know, circumvent like the capacity to trust them. Like the like back in the day. Like you also have to understand another thing as well, Caleb. Like back in the day, the kind of like the just the general kind of capacity, like the technology available for people to be able to do nefarious stuff was like, I mean, it's tiny in comparison to what we have these days.
I'm laughing my ass off here because someone in chat is like really mad about wanting his Eve mails to be private.
It's a thing that a lot of people do because they're like, I don't want people to know I was talking shit about them. Like,
No. I want
Can I-
people to know I was talking shit about them.
Also, you should not be sending like super private things through Eve mail. Just
You
saying.
shouldn't
Yeah.
send Eve mails. Eve mails are shit. Come on.
So look,
So
I stopped sending emails in its entirety ever since fucking Eve Skunk started up.
I just
oh god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you remember about Eve Skunk? That was the most. That was
Yeah.
that was a genius Intel like tool that somebody developed and just put out there. Like, fucking hell.
Emails
Let's
wonderful.
fucking-
Send emails to your enemies saying, "Hey, thanks for that intel," and then they get in
It's-
trouble. I was reading them mails.
get spies into Pappy especially because they don't go through the amount of hoops we do. You know that Nix that was shooting the Keepstar for a couple hours? That was Hyper.
Oh yeah.
That was Hyper's alt.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
who was it? Jay basically Jay let it know, and I think it was on
My show.
Theta Thursdays, right? Like that that he had to PM the dude and say like, you know, you have to get rid of the fact that like it says that it's Hyper Viper's ult in your bio. That's probably a bad thing. Like you might want to remove that.
And then the alt had been in Goots. And it was a Nix pilot. It was allowed to get into their cat fleet and go and shoot their Keepstar.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you want to take a guess what my pandemic horde ult was used to call?
Not a Guno.
Yes.
But that's the thing. The sheer amount
Double
of
bluff
stories
there.
I've heard of people doing stuff like Soft's just done or Hyper Viper with their name in their fucking bio or some shit like that on the spy ult and it just not being paid attention to.
I mean, we get spies too. It happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
And you know why? Like, because people don't give a fuck too much because they're not recruiting into like trusted groups from the outside anywhere near as much as it used to be.
And this is back to the upside of actually doing proper HR, right? Doing proper background checks in the old way and not just using an API CREST tool that CCP gives you. You actually couldn't easily get into an organization because you had a human in front of you.
Yeah,
right?
but
So hold on, Dawn, sorry, I want to say something here. Caleb, you realize what you are asking for is literally advocating for EVE on hard recruitment mode to the point where player retention goes off a fucking cliff
doesn't.
because they
No, it
can't
doesn't.
join groups.
Because
Oh, it's-
that problem
it's-
is only a
Caleb.
problem when you reach 100 or 500 man group size.
So what do you think's going to happen? Because all you're going to end up with is new players in small groups that abuse the shit out of them and push them out the game.
That's very fine that you sit there and scream at me and chat is doing the same. I'm just saying that back in the day before we got Crest, the dedication to recruitment and HR was really, really high, and it
Yes,
tied directly into the whole spy and spy work operations. It was just a lot more what you would call meta level gameplay that got flattened and removed when suddenly we got these big feeder corps and no real focus on recruitment. Every recruiter basically got unemployed, and HR was no longer a meaningful thing.
And
Why, Caleb?
flattened for a reason.
Yeah, but
Can
You
you,
can-
Into the
can
small
you
corps
for a
have-
minute? Can you for a minute, right? Use your imagination and think of why all of a sudden it went that way.
Because
You know
people
what's-
got lazy and they didn't want to play
No,
the advanced
no,
game.
No,
anymore.
because you don't people don't suddenly, like, you know, all at once go, we're going to suddenly be lazy now. That's not how it functions. That's not how that works. Like, people don't, people don't all of a sudden, you know, become, like, lazy, like that.
But that's what happened.
CCP
The point
flattened
is-
it for a good reason.
Yeah,
Okay,
because-
so the fact that you believe that happened, Caleb, the fact that you believe that happened, like, you're being, like, clearly.
Instead of
you-
screaming at me as if I'm an idiot, could you?
I'm
try to
not
listen
screaming
to
at
my
you.
fucking,
I'm not screaming
fucking
at you.
argument?
I'm not
wanna
screaming
make a
at
point.
you, Caleb.
I want to make a
The point
here.
is there was actually less options to get these easy mode spies into groups back when we did the actual proper recruitment.
Yes, that is true. However, that had the side effect of locking new players out of said groups, which is not a very good thing
But
when
it
you're
is, 'cause
saying,
then
Caleb,
you're
let me
you're
finish.
naturally compartmentalizing.
Let me finish. That is not a good thing when you are selling your entire game on NoSec PvP and then refusing to let people get involved in that because they don't have a history in the game because they're new. Your
It's not an
retention,
argument, because
your retention goes off a fucking cliff, and someone
No,
summed
because
it up.
you
Let
have
me finish.
more
See,
No,
smaller
you
groups.
don't end up with-
Okay.
You don't end up with more
CCP
groups.
Ghost. Sorry, Caleb. Not. Sorry, Caleb.
So-
Sorry, Bard. I just. In a presentation, CCP Ghost, who is the guy who has been perpetuating the friendship machine argument for a solid 2-3 years now, specifically said that one of the best tools for player retention is the larger, new player-friendly nullsec corps, which would not exist in the fashion that they exist today without the old API and the current Crest ESI, not the current Crest ESI, the current ESI system. They wouldn't be able to do what they do without these tools.
And that's fine.
I
I'm,
agree.
I'm not
Mike is
disagreeing with
offered
that.
to
I'm
make
just
the-
saying that those groups are the feeder corps, the really big ones that have very little oversight and vetting. I think that's a feature, or that should have very low
sorry.
vetting.
So I have to agree with Dirk here, because this is exactly it. If you're in a small group, you don't need ESI to find your spy. There's even a video game out there where you can actually practice this, where you get up to 10 people in a spaceship.
And
But
for each other.
when you get a larger group, you get to a point where you don't know everyone individually. You need to use tools. And when CCP says this is a good for the game, these large corps that help bring new players in, I think Dirk has hit it on the nail on the head.
And the smaller corps in Goonswarm, we use the ESI and stuff to help, you know, sift through the muck. Because I was a recruiter for Sundering for a while, and you know, like, I still used ESI and API to try to understand, like, who a character was, where they had all their stuff, like, their story, to make sure it made sense to what they were telling me. You know, if I see they've got 15 battleships out in Kavala Expanse, and they're like, I'm a high-sec puppy, like, you're like, yeah, you're probably not from high-sec. Like, there were just things, like, it just made it easier for the small groups even to find good people that you actually wanted in your group, on top of sitting there having to talk and get to know them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You can also inject now. So you can't look at low SP and say, wow, you're new to the game, or high SP, you're not new to the game.
Yeah, there was a time where I was looking around for corps to join, and if there was this classic thing of like, oh, you need to give us you need to give us certain APIs. And you also need to have at least 10 million SP and be able to fly a bomber.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a reason for that, and that's the thing. Like these days, like there's so many like the ability for you to create a character is so much more like matured, as well as the tools that like you have these days to be able to, to do nefarious things is so much more matured these days that it's difficult to be able to trust people. Like, we're fucking around, like just being able to fuck around with a voice changer. Like voice changers have come on leaps and bounds these days, and like I literally, I think it was this week, like Nvidia released a thing that essentially almost allows you to be able to to be able to live at to be able to what's the actual fucking tech? It's like it's a new encoder to encode things at a super low bit rate, but it would essentially allow you to be able to
no.
it's not an RTX thing.
You're on about
I think it's AV1. It'll essentially allow you to be able to to deep fake live using someone else's face completely.
Wow.
And like and it's just one of these, it's like the technology that you can, that's available basically for free, that allows you to be able to do nefarious things, is just so much more matured nowadays versus back in the time when when spying and all that kind of stuff was like the cool thing.
All right, guys.
That it's so easy to do that you can't trust people these days. Like as much as I would love to be able to trust people, like you can't with the level of granularity or the lack of granularity that you have these days, like in Eve, when it comes to like things that you actually have to sort of like properly trust people with. It's just not. It's not capable. It's not realistic to be able to like just implicitly trust somebody.
I mean, and here's the thing, right? It goes back to, I'm going to go back to something you said a minute ago, right? About when you were looking for corpse and you needed 10 mil SP. And it reminds me of when I first started the game in 2014. I joined because of BTAC-R.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
Yeah, and guess what? What I explained a minute ago is exactly what happened to me, Caleb. I couldn't join any nullsec group for the best part of 2 years because I didn't have enough SP.
I don't even have anything to say about that, because this is not what it's about. It's not about SP.
But here's the thing. It is about that, because that was the old restrictions that came about alongside so much years of corp history and other random shit recruitment policies, because they wanted people to like have this history. Eric, you're typing, by the way.
I know.
We didn't
It
have
was like
the
You only have about 2 minutes left anyway, guys. So
yeah, like but
yeah,
we
there wasn't the
thing is,
ESI
we
option,
didn't have
so
the
to
ESI
weed out the
restrictions.
spy.
We had arbitrary restrictions.
Yeah. So to weed out the spies, you didn't just weed out the spies, you weeded out the new players. And yes, SA accounts, yeah, that's a thing.
There
Not something
was
that
also
player would exactly know, though.
There was also a realization as well to people that like that you can actually get stuff done using new players. Like it took BTAC-R for that to happen, and it took like I think it was Brave who kind of pioneered this more than anyone else. There was probably one group that was doing it prior to Brave. That's like Brave stole our thunder and all that kind of stuff. But like the most notorious, but there was the probably the most notorious people who kind of like just allowed anybody in.
They did it on scale. They scaled it up, but it was
Brave.
Lowering of the bar started with Goons pretty much, because they figured out that if they can compartmentalize and control their security properly, then this SP bullshit and massive vetting is actually not a benefit, right?
It
so
did
they
not
lowered the
start
bar
with
first, and then
Goons.
It didn't.
It really
Started-
did
no,
not
they-
start
they
with
really-
Goons.
All right, guys, it's 3 o'clock.
Things go so
Before
fast.
we go,
Is it time to shop?
I wanted to make a point for 20 minutes now, and you guys keep talking and talking about this API.
All the one last things go to Soth. Go, Soth.
Right.
Okay.
You guys keep talking about why Corps should let players in, and yet no one is talking about why players should join a nullsec group. If you go and ask people in Goonswarm or in Test or in Pandemic Horde, I guarantee you 50% of them didn't join because of PvP. I guarantee you. So that's why I keep saying we need incentives for nullsec, because it doesn't just drive wars, it also drives new players into nullsec organizations. And as Bard already said, we know, and CCP knows, that the players who go into nullsec organizations early are the ones who stay in the game. And we need people to stay in the game so the game stays healthy. Right?
Yeah.
You're still catering for something that's actually unhealthy for the game. It doesn't add content.
It adds the opportunity for interesting encounters.
It makes it easier to scale above 1,000 dudes, which of course there's benefits to that, because doing that naturally is a bit of a big stretch and it's hard to do. But I still honestly believe that we were better off when you had to scale things on a Dunbar number and then smash them together in, well, even just fold them into Megacorps, because that added the human aspect of HR and interaction.
Sure.
Yeah, I like Goonie in Twitch chat. Caleb, FWST wants to disagree with you.
There was plenty of content and fun to be had there, albeit in Tidal.
One does not preclude the other. There was fights of scale before we had big feeder corps.
Not of that scale. And it's not just feeder corps we're talking about, Caleb.
Well, it fundamentally is.
Anyway, I do actually need to disappear off, so...
Alrighty, folks.
I will, Fireside as well.
Yep, that is a wrap. We'll see everybody at Fireside. Everybody have a great day. Thank you, everybody who was on the panel today. We had a great day, and it was fun. And thank you, everybody out there in the audience, for joining. We are out of here.